Hello and aloha, my dear friends, the humanity all around the planet. My name is Abdu'l-Baha. I'm going to continue where I was left off last time on those few discussions I've had. There are many things that I want to say. Probably I have to revisit some of the topics that I've been talking to you about it. But for now, I'm going to continue the last three videos about this metaphysics. And this one, I'm going to talk about what's going to happen to us, what happens after death, or where we're going here, and to elucidate this matter a little bit more. You remember last time I was talking about the questions, and I didn't have my phone with me. I have my phone right now. So normally, if we ask the people and the planet, including ourselves even sometimes, about an object such as this phone, what this is, immediately people say it's phone. Or anything else that we make. Let's say this glass right here. People say, well, it's glass. Is it really? It's equally, I explain, it's equally correct to say that this actually is not the phone. The phone is the design, the metaphysical part of this matter, independently from it, designed by somebody. And this phone is the manifestation of that design. Therefore, phone is not really a material thing. There is design in it. Without that design, you can't call this phone. In this relationship, if you destroy this phone, really the phone doesn't break. Because the real phone is somewhere recorded in some computer, some memory power. And it could just come back. So, in the same manner, us, that I'm talking to you tonight, I can't just be matter. We can see the design behind the phone, that without it is impossible to make it. So is us. So is everything else. Clearly, there is a design in me. And if you say, oh, there is no design in a tree, well, any expert biologist can totally design from the DNA of that tree to everything else. And to show you that there is a design used to make this tree. It's not a random conglomerations of the material putting together and magically become a tree. It's not like that. So, in this regard, then when we're asking what is the other side, there is no other side. The other side is here. I am on the other side. So is you that are listening to me. We're simply manifesting ourselves through this body. This body is the computer, is a telephone, it's a car, it's a tool, we're operating it. The person who speaks and talks and feels is not a matter. So the next level of life is another level, but it's not another where. It's right here. Abdu'l-Baha gives the example. He says, in a house, in a room, when there's a plant doesn't know we exist. Because there's no sensory organ for the plants to understand what's outside of it. We're in the same shoe. We don't have any sensory organs to know what other side is. But yet, logically, because we have brain, creative thinking, we can think of it, like many other things. So, and this is the meaning of the word of Abdu'l-Baha that he says. It's translated in the promulgations of the new faith. There he says that this world, material world, is an exact counterpart of metaphysical world. Exact counterpart. That means then for everything that you see, there's exactly another thing. And I brought the same reasoning to tell you last time. You can't bring another soul into my body even if I'm dead. Just like I cannot put any other design in this phone except the design that manifests by this. This body of this phone is an exact reference that the design, even the color of it, everything else is required in order for this phone to become the phone. So no other soul can come into my body. You can't install two designs on one phone. So you can't have two souls in one body. Or say I'm dead and somebody else can occupy or relate himself to me. It's not possible. Our body is not, I just an example when I say it's a telephone or it's a computer, but it's much more complicated than that. It's that particular suit that suits you and nothing else that can manifest you as such. Only this particular body. So that's why you can't come back here. We have to discuss a little bit about the design. I said before that, sure, designs are made by the designers, but a designer cannot be made. That's a very difficult thing to understand. We cannot create anything on the planet, anything at all, that's exactly like us. We can't make ourselves. We can't. If we want it, it has to be born from us. This is the prime directive in the universe. Anything that a designer, that a creator makes, it's a degree lower than him. God cannot make another God exactly like himself. Whatever it makes, it is lower than him. 1 degree lower. To the point that the lower does not understand the higher. So, but because we're designers, we cannot be made. We're born. Some people say, well, your brain just like the computer. No, this is very different here. The mankind, us, we have creative thinking. We can think and create something that is not there. A computer is a processor. You have to feed it, and then you ask from it, and it'll answer what you put into it. But if you haven't put anything in the computer, it does not understand. If you do not put the word green or the color green, no computer can respond to the word green or the shape green because they don't understand it. It's not in there. So basically computer or computers or all these things is nothing but a library that you put the stuff in it and you take it out. That's all. Nothing more than that. It's not creative. Creative thinking is that I can make something that sometimes a relative of mine was asking a student that why can't in future, if there's thinking and there's power, let's say 1,000,000 years from now, 1,000,000 years from now, why can't we make the entire universe? Why can't we make some machine that machine can actually bang up these planets and make new planets with a proper distance, with a proper matter? Why can't we do that? Why can't we do more than that? So we can make what we know as God by ourselves. I said no. The only reason for it is no, is that whatever a man makes, another man can improve. Therefore, no man is God. That's it. Whatever we make can be improved by another person, just like us. Therefore, we can't be God. God is a different situation because we're just like cartoon in that realm. We do not understand it. We cannot understand it. Just like the car doesn't understand you. They communicate with you. Telephone can communicate with you, but does not understand you really. No matter can understand us. Therefore, we're a creative thinker, and you can't make that. It's impossible. in my personal opinion, the entire universe, all of it, is nothing but the belly of the mother. If you ever go to prairie, somewhere, on a truck, put a plank on it, some bed on it, sit on it, and directly look at the heaven. You will feel a feeling of levitations right into it. Then you can actually see you're surrounded, you're in the belly. What's the condition of a child in the belly of the mother? Doesn't understand nothing but a bloody life. And he doesn't understand anything from father at all, because he's just outside. When he very much grows, really ready to be delivered, he might see noises or colors or something from outside that makes him to jump. And that is probably when we are very spiritual and we are ready to die. We might get more into the contact with the other side. But until then we're inside, we do not know it. That's what it is. Otherwise this entire universe is nothing around the belly of the mother nature. But you know how your mother is inside when you're in the womb? Nothing but a blood and a place that's so huge in the beginning and then gradually becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. The same rendition can be applied here. That if you grow spiritually, then you see the whole life is very small, very limited. Somebody was asking me, like, what do you wish, Mr. Tamori? I told him I don't like anything. He says to me, so what do you wish? What do you like? I told him I like to go in that cliff and just fly in the air. He said, are you kidding? This is not a wish. I told him I know, because we can't get it here. What, you want to give me an airplane? That's not exciting. I like to zoom right to go in the middle of the sun. It's possible. These are not wishes. These are craziness. I said, no, it's not. When you die, that can happen. Not right now. So, we are in it. If you grow more and more, just like a baby in the womb, you become big enough and you don't like it. Everything's in confinement. Everything's confinement. How can you imagine a flight but you can't do it? Then you're like feeling totally like in a cage, isn't it? So this is the mother nature. But what happens when you come out of the womb? You see the face of your mother. She actually smiles at you. She turns into a spiritual being that you can communicate. You actually feel love emanating from her. So your mother is much bigger than the womb, isn't it? But in the womb only you see just a circle. The whole thing is the womb of the mother nature. When you die, you actually see the mother nature is grabbing you. You see the other part of the mother nature that cannot be fit here. Even she is a spiritual, completely. Inside her is not. Or it is, but it's a different realm. Then you see your father. If you're not dead. The ratio is very hard. Based on what Abdu'l-Baha says, this world is the exact counterpart to the other world. Imagine how many sperms we inject into our wife's womb. Billions, trillions, sextillions. Googleplex number, God knows. How many kids? 2, 3, 4, what, 20? That's it. The rest of it goes into toilet. Mankind is bewildering a sperm. Only a few lucky ones, they can make it. But it's not by luck though. It's by will. The luck is what confinement is. In case of man, he has the willpower to do so. Everyone can be saved. Everyone. At any time. Even if 100 years he's been a bad person, the last minute of the life can change and it could save him. It's that easy, that fast. It needs willpower. This willpower is not some kind of a willing to quit smoking, for example. No. It's a decision that you turn tonight, you say, I'm going to apologize to those who have I wronged them. I'm going to be good. I'm going to change. It's just simple. Will does not take time. It's fast. You make a decision and you change. So, the next life. So what? Continue to that point. More than the children of God, truly, are born. It is something of Him in us that allows us to be creative thinker. That cannot be created. It must be born. We are born in the mother nature. Bad example. Imagine the manifestations of God are like peanuts coming into the world and infuse the mother nature spiritually this time around. So the new spirits are born if they can sustain themselves and listen to Him. Imagine. Take the cause of God like a window, like a Microsoft window. He's sending to us, emailing to us on our computer. Get it installed, get it installed. Get this new window installed in your head. Get rid of the windows of Islam and Christianity and other junks. Install the new window in your brain, in your head, in your soul, to be exactly correctly. The words of the manifestation can go in the brain. The spirit of it has to be embedded into the soul. If you install that, Baha'u'llah says there's a chance now. Not that you can, you may still fail, but this is where it begins. Baha'i faith is that window, it has to be installed. So the next life has many different levels for a human being, for a thinking being. So, that's Abdu'l-Baha. How is this? He says the bad ones, Dracula, vampires, these things that Hollywood says they have a lot of power. Abdu'l-Baha says actually they are like a hay. He points in a stable to a blade of hay. He says it's just like that. They have no power, they're nothing compared to a human being. What's the difference between a human and a bushel of the hay? Nothing. It's just comparable. Because what goes in the next life is only a spiritual power. You can't carry on physics and chemistry and all that in there. No. I've always given this example, poor Chinese. I say imagine this guy in China and some village, God knows, in the forsaken land. He's got hold of these books and he's trying to learn English. And all the people are telling him, what are you saying? We don't even understand it. But he just keeps talking English. And he goes, learns carpentry. They tell him, why carpentry? We don't use wood to make houses. We use stones and this and that. What is this? This house is like a child things you do. He says to them, I know, but there's something to this. And people don't understand what he's talking about. But he knows from China he's going to come to Canada, where people speak English and where carpentry is a job. But he has no money in China, zero. Except he can speak English and he knows carpentry. One day he comes to Canada and he makes it. Because although carpentry with wood, building house, or speaking English in China is totally alien to that environment, it's very much in here. Same as here. If we learn a lot of things in this life, none of it will become useful on the other side. An understanding of it is remains. You may be a house builder, but you get an understanding out of this. That will remain with you. But if you can talk to people, make a sad person happy, make a smoking person to quit, make a depressed man to find goal again in his life, if you can do those kind of things, oh yeah, you will be alive and very well too. So none of the bad things can go there. In the Baha'i faith, they say bad is the lack of good. Again, go back to the womb of the mother. If the child is completely deformed and everything else, what can you do when it comes here? It's a handicap, the best to say that. Nourished child, good child comes here and becomes somebody. Same here. If you're malnourished spiritually, when you go there, you're nothing. You come to the point that you exist, but your level of existence is very low. And the level of existence is very much bigger than here. I'll give you another example to this effect. Let's say in a classroom, there are a couple of children, grade 2 and grade 5. Or whatever grade, but they're in a school. And one side, this fellow is Albert Einstein, and the other side, another child, give a name to it, Adolf Hitler, or the infamous guy who killed Sharon Tate. I always remember him, Charlie Manson. That guy and Albert Einstein, they're both in the same chair, enjoying the same teacher, same environment and everything. So there are differences between them. Teacher knows this is better student, that's no good, but that much of a difference. Not much. But when they finish this school, one becomes an addict, a crazy drug substance abuser, and finally ends up in the jail. And the other guy is Albert Einstein. He goes back, he becomes at the top of the humanity in the matter pertaining to the science. So there's a lot of difference between Charlie Manson and Albert Einstein in the class and outside of the class. Immensely different. Or another example. What's the difference between Albert Einstein's zygote in the womb and Albert Einstein when he's 50, 60 years old? A lot of difference. So based on what we do, there's a lot of differences. Yes, there are people back there, but there are strange things. I know of it. You're in a farm, you're working, it's like here, but suddenly see a man flying from the heaven and come right on the ground. All the people gather even to touch him. Very rare they are, but they can fly. Yes. Some are so huge that never mind flying just over 20 feet or 100 feet. They fly right into the galaxies. Some of them are so powerful that even they come here in this life. Not in this way again that you think, in a different way. Example again. Many people, they come from China to Canada, many. But imagine the chairman of the Communist Party, the very president of China, comes in here. He is very big in Canada. He can go back to China anytime he wants. Because he's rich, he's powerful, he can. Souls are like that. If they're very powerful, they can do a lot of things. So the levels will change. But fear is still there because fear is metaphysics. And a lot of other things as such. But death as that, as such that you're dying and you're going away, and they say, what are you talking about? That doesn't exist. If you had completely a spiritual eye, let's say, you could see that me, I'm sitting here, and there's another me is inside the body and communicating with this body. There's two things in life, always. So, I think essentially I covered this topic that I wanted to say. I'll give you another example about why can't we see God? I was thinking of this. Hollywood makes lots of science fictions. Let me give them a plot tonight. Imagine there's a planet somewhere, science fictions, you know. The people there, they live a couple million years, not couple hundred. They go millions of years they live. But they're just like us, except that they live long. They live 2-3 million years. When they have children, the children is like 10 years old, 20 years old. They don't know their parents. Because after 2 million, they evolved into an energy. They do not any longer even have a body. After the first million years, they lose their body. They become energy completely, a physical energy. But nothing can be seen. Imagine. That's the situation with God, with our begetter. He's just too much older than us. We will get there. Quran, the book of Muslims, it says we are from God and we're going back to Him. So it seems like a big cycle from there. And so we are born. That is what Jesus says. I am child of God. And you all have to become children of God. Children as in person that can be compatible and communicate with the parents. Not children as in that an egg that was not fertilized or fertilized, but it could not develop and eventually went to the toilet. All the eggs in the body of somebody's womb cannot claim that they're the children of that mother and that father. They don't even see they exist. They don't. Who will be the child? The one that comes out alive. If it is dead, it would be a dead child. Can't communicate. It has to be alive in order to be able to talk, to see the parents. So I think I explained to you very well. It's very simple. It's nothing beyond that, but we have to learn to understand that this is not telephone. This is a manifestation of telephone. This is not a glass. You can say it is because it is according to you. But you could also look at it in this way to say that this does not exist in the nature. Therefore I can't say it is. Somebody must have thought, the thought plus the matter made this. So why do I call this the glass? I would say the idea beyond it is the actual glass. It's how the perspective is. We have to develop the right perspective about when we say something exists. What exists? So see, everything is manifesting a reality. Independent and completely independent from the matter. Okay. Baha'u'llah says, the excess of a speech is a deadly poison. Thus I keep myself quiet. I'm glad I told you everything. You could not prevent me, you mankind, to say what I have to say. And after that, really, it doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter what you do with it. It matters that I said those things and my mission is accomplished. I've done what I came here to do. But I hope actually you get somewhere. because we're not one against another. This has to go into the head of you. Everybody in the planet is a part of us. All of these human beings together, they're like cells. Together they make a ginormous being called humanity. We don't know of its existence. Just like the cells in the body, they're not aware of the existence of me. They think themselves they're in their universe. They don't know I exist. Humanity altogether. One human is another prime directive of Abdu'l-Baha. The little things, the very little things, it actually, the big, huge things is in that little things. The minute particle has the whole universe in it. Look at our head. The hair is black, so then there are black people. In fact, they're not black, it's all brown. The body is white, so there are white people. Face is brown, hand is brown, darker, then there are brown people. So all the races of humanity is in each one of us. Every time you hurt somebody, immediately you hurt yourself. Immediately. But this is an understanding though. You say, no, what the hell, he's my enemy, you go do it. You hurt him and try to sleep overnight. Or even if you can sleep because you're so oblivious, but you see your life is changing. You get a lot of bad luck, you get a lot of things. You turn into an animal as you start to hurt others. Imagine one of my cells in my body start to attack my body. What do we call that cell? It's cancer. That cell is cancerous. It's to kill it, basically. Take it right out. That's what God does every day. Very well, God be with you. This is the final on this topic. I would be starting this, 20 to 30 videos on revelation of the Baha. Oh, that is revealing, I'll tell you. Okay, Allahu Akbar.